Rat number one.
Oh, hello.
I think she just removed my makeup there. Oh, absolutely.
Hello. We're back again.
Hello.
Hopefully this is when we record. So we did all that for nothing.
Holy cow.
Nothing.
I'm recording now.
Nothing.
Technical issues.
Yeah. Hopefully it actually records this time, hey?
Yep.
Okay, so what we're talking about? Motley Crue. You were telling me that it's on Netflix, the biography?
Yeah, The Dirt.
The Dirt.
I just checked it.
It's The Dirt.
A while ago.
The Crue, yep.
Yeah, and I was saying that, you know, this dog man is just annoying me.
Show us the dog. Don't let it lick your face this time.
No.
Come on, show us the dog.
No, Motley Crue was a huge inspiration for me.
Yeah.
When I was younger.
Up,
yeah, and Ozzy Osbourne as well. Because, yeah, like I said, when you buy their albums or you see them on MTV or anywhere like that, you don't actually think about where they came from. They actually started right at the bottom of the food chain and come up. So it just proves to me, and it's an inspiration for me, because it just shows that you can start anywhere and go to the top. It can be done.
Oh, absolutely you can. Yep. Were you saying something about Guns N' Roses? Guns N' Roses. What were you saying about Guns N' Roses? You were saying nothing. Let's talk about Guns N' Roses.
Well, I know that you're a huge fan of Guns N' Roses. Well, you two, stop it. Oh, my God. Who needs kids when you've got chihuahuas?
Put the little savage thing up so we can see it. The little savage monster. Doesn't want it.
They're too busy biting each other at the moment. That's what that noise is.
You look really pretty, by the way. What makeup did you use?
I think it was just the El Cheapo brand.
Cheapo, no brand.
Like the $2 shop type.
No. Oh, well, sometimes that works fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does the job. Well, your makeup looks nice anyway, so it works. Yeah. It did the job.
Slap it on. Slap it on. I scrub up all right, yeah? Yeah, but the problem with me is if I go and buy makeup, they don't have the right skin tone colour for me. God, some of these makeups I've bought in the past, you know, they're yellow or they're orange or they're so dark, they're like, mammy, you know, that dark, you know. Yeah. So I've bought a light foundation and a dark, and I mix them. Yeah. And it's the most effective way. I used to buy.
I know a few ladies who do that, actually.
Pardon?
I said I know a few ladies who do that.
Yeah, it just works better for me, because otherwise I end up with the most hideous.
Yeah, I find it very hard actually to find a nice colour. And as you know, I normally use Napoleon, and recently I use Rimmel anyway. Rimmel London.
Get the London look.
Yeah, that's the one. Whoops. Yeah, I use some of their products, like their mascaras and eyeliners and all that sort of stuff. I've got one of their lipsticks, which is really good. That's the one I'm wearing, actually. I can't remember what it's called. It stays on for 16 hours, but it's similar to the lip scent. So you put the colour on, and then you put this clear stuff over the top of it, like the gloss, and whatever that is made out of it locks it in, supposedly.
Oh, wow.
But yeah,
I'm not wearing lipstick. I like lip gloss. Yeah. And I know you make lip gloss. I'm going to have to get some off of you.
Yeah, I like it. It's good, the one that I make, because it's natural. It's conditioning. And when people buy stuff from me, like clients and stuff, I'll put it in a little package, and they'll sometimes email me and say, "Where did you get that from?" I'm like, here's my
I
link.
made it.
Yeah.
You're
So
so
today,
clever.
hey?
You're so clever.
Oh, yes, you remember everything you say.
I know. It's like I'm scripted and I'm going to try and pat this dog.
To try and keep it quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, today I used the Fix and Protect Makeup Primer from Rimmel. That
Oh,
one.
wow.
You can say that.
Rimmel's a good brand too.
It is a really good brand. And then we find out you don't pronounce it Rimmel, it's Rimmel.
Rimmel.
Yeah.
Mm. Rimmel. I
And I
like
used
it.
the Match Perfection from them as well.
Oh, wow. What colour is that one?
That is, I think it's just a light nude. Number 102, light nude.
I might get that.
Mm.
That's a nice colour.
And I bought the Revlon Sculpt and Highlight Contour Kit, which I used once recently, and it was very good. I quite like that.
Beautiful. Yeah, I used to get
Yeah.
the contour kit from Napoleon,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the powder.
Yeah.
And you could do all your contouring, highlights. This is seriously like having a 2-year-old.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just
Fun,
horrendous.
isn't it?
Oh yeah. You right
I
now?
was thinking too on the show, we should make a mention of crystals. Like I think we should have different topics every week, obviously, but a different crystal every week we should talk about.
Oh, that's a good
I think
idea.
everyone would really like that.
I think so. All right.
People are always asking for that sort of stuff. And the problem with groups as well is when you post all that sort of stuff in there, it often just ends up getting lost in the feed anyway.
Yeah, 'cause I know I've had to scroll through your page trying to find information. I was looking for angel numbers actually.
Oh God, I thought you were going to say something else. So you're on the wrong website. .xxx. Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, what were you saying?
You're scaring me now.
Yeah, what were you saying? You're not even going to remember what you're saying now. I like doing that to you.
Oh, I don't know. It's gone. It's gone.
The dog doesn't help.
No.
Okay, so let's talk about clear quartz. Do you know much about clear quartz at all? Except for the fact that you really like it. Makes you feel good.
Isn't it a energy absorbing?
Basically, it's the most powerful crystal as far as clearing negative energy.
Yeah.
And you can use it
That's
to
what
actually,
I'm trying to get at.
yeah, and you can use it to cleanse all your other crystals as well, which is kind of really
Oh
cool.
wow.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that, but you can actually use it. So if you can't or you don't want to go and cleanse them in the moonlight or in salt water and all that, and because you've got to remember too, some crystals you can't put in water, like selenite, you cannot put that in water at all; it'll destroy it. So yeah, so you'd either put that in the moonlight, and also you'd put that in the moonlight, but also keep it next to a clear quartz. So clear quartz is great for that. And the other thing is about clear quartz is it's a great amplifier. So let's just say you were feeling heartbroken, like you'd split up with your boyfriend or something like that. You would put it with a rose quartz. So then therefore it amplifies the rose quartz, which is a good healing stone and stuff and blah, blah, blah. But we'll talk about that one more next week, rose quartz. But yeah, so you could put it next to obsidian, for example. And again, we'll get that onto that one another time. But just briefly, obsidian's really good for clearing any sort of psychic attack and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I actually keep a lot of obsidian in my house. Need to.
You need to with your industry.
Yes, unfortunately, as you know.
Yeah.
I'd have them everywhere if I could.
You'd probably deck your walls with it, wouldn't you?
It's actually not a bad idea. You could have a crystal wall in your house and actually just make a big crystal grid on your wall and glue every one of them on your wall. I would actually do that. That is something I would do. I'm
God.
doing
Your husband's going to kill me now because I suggested that.
it. No, that's a fucking excellent idea.
Oh,
No, that actually would look really good though, you have to admit. If you had a feature wall and you put like stuck crystals all over, like in a grid for a particular reason, you know, you were trying to achieve something, and you know, you could even have like a painting mural and stuff like that around, or arty. That's something you could do as well because you're very arty. Actually, I'm going to show one of your pictures, if I may,
Ooh.
because I really quite like your art. You're a very good artist.
Where is it? Which one have you got?
Oops. I accidentally shut something down. I shouldn't have. That's okay. Where is it? Here it is. Open with. I'll just open it with paint. Good program. All right, so you can't see it, but I'm showing a picture of, you know, the target illustration you did?
Oh, Roger. His name's Roger.
Oh, his name's Roger.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, Roger, so what are you going to do with that painting? You're going to turn him into one of your astrology pics, or was that something separate?
I think I might incorporate him into one of my astrology pictures for sure.
Yeah, I think that you should.
Yeah,
I really like him. You could do him, like, obviously, as maybe a Leo. Would you do him as a Leo? That's really meant to be a line, isn't it, though?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, you couldn't really. I don't think you could, unless you do the Chinese star signs.
Oh yeah,
Year of the you could definitely use it there. That's where you could use it. I don't know why I had Leo in my head. I know why I had Leo in my head, because you did a picture of a lion, remember, ages ago, and I always said to you, this was years and years ago, and I said to you, that's a Leo picture.
Yeah, actually, I do.
Have you still got it?
I do have I do up stencils. Like I do my own drawings and piece them together and do stencils.
Yeah.
And so I've actually got it on file. They're A1 size. I don't know the actual measurements of an A1 size piece of paper.
Yeah.
But that lion picture that I've got, it's actually got roses. It's all components of the Leo star sign, like their planet, their actual symbol, their flower, their gemstone, and the animal as well.
Wow.
The symbol.
Oh my God.
It's huge.
Can you find it for the next? Can you find it for the next show, and we'll show everyone? Because I really want to see you do something with your art, particularly in obviously in the area where we're working. It would make sense anyway, but yeah, you're such a good artist. It's just such a shame to let you not see you doing something more with it. And I love that whole concept of doing all the star signs and stuff, and the Chinese ones as well.
Yeah, because it's been 32 years since I first wanted to start my own art business, and I've only just started doing it 32 years later.
Sometimes life gets in the way.
Yes, it sure does. So I've now got my own registered art business, which is Phantasmo.
What's the name of that?
It's just under my normal name.
Yeah.
But I've got my own art page on Facebook, which it's Art by Chris, and Chris is spelled CRIS.
Yeah. I'm following on you. That's a good page. You should put more stuff on there, actually.
Well, actually, I've got a couple of other pieces that I've got here with me, because I've started on tattoo designs as well.
Oh, yeah, cool. I remember you saying that.
Oh, stop it, Marley. Oh, my God.
Did you do that painting behind you?
I sure did.
I like that.
That's an liquid acrylic pour, it's called.
Yeah,
It
it's
sort
nice.
of
Good job.
reminds me of the ocean. I love it. I
That's
love
exactly
those
what I was going to
colours.
say to you. That's what when I look at it, that's what I was saying was the ocean.
It's absolutely beautiful. Or a galaxy as well.
Yeah, you could have that as a galaxy as well. Yeah, true.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see this properly, but I'll try my best. That's my Merlin.
Yeah, I like your Merlin. Nice, good job.
Yeah. Marley, stop it. And also, because I absolutely love tigers. I don't know why. I just love tigers. So I started doing a lava tiger.
Oh, I like that. That's nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've got to do a bit more work on him.
Yeah.
And I think my dog needs a sleeping pill.
Shh, doggy, shh. What's the barking at? Because we're talking.
No, she wants me to pat her.
So what I thought we could talk about,
Yeah.
what I want to talk to you about is I found this website and it tells you 101 topics to talk about with your friends.
We cover that pretty much in like
I was going to say,
half
like,
an hour.
personally, I don't think we get stuck for conversation.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Excuse me, tickle in the throat.
A wee tickle.
Oh, fuck.
I don't know. I can't help thinking about the Ancestry.com conversation we had.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
hilarious.
Which one was that? The one about the one where we were really paranoid about somebody taking your DNA and doing something with it. But it's hilarious. But it's true. Like,
It
that
is
is,
true.
to me, that is a serious concern. It's like, I mean, obviously we've researched it since and we've realised that it's done by legit
A laboratory.
off-campus laboratory. They're, unique unto themselves and they've got nothing to really do with that business.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can understand why people would be concerned about that.
And me with all my hours and hours, squillions of hours of watching crime shows, I'm like, no, Luan, they can't do that. They've got to have fingerprints. They've got to have so much evidence before you can even take anyone to trial.
I know, but you do hear about stories about people being stitched up for crimes that they didn't do and they have very little evidence, or people plant evidence, or, some police officers they say have done that. Whether that's true or not, who knows? I'm not saying that it's true.
Read our disclaimer. Read our disclaimer.
Yeah, yeah, read it. Yeah, but like, that was one of my concerns. It's like, holy hell, somebody has got your DNA. Like, what are they doing? But as we said, Ancestry.com does actually explain it in full when you go and read the FAQs and all that, frequently asked questions. But we're not alone because it's a FAQ. So, other people have wondered these things as well. So you can actually get asked for it to be destroyed after the testing is done. And I think I probably would anyway. Not being paranoid or anything, but, it's like the condom story I told you once upon a time about a friend of mine who threw
a friend of yours.
I'm asking for a friend.
DNA away.
I'm asking for a friend who threw their DNA away in the bush, and my friend was like, "Oh my god!" Like,
I know.
Somebody could use your DNA. Like, seriously, and it's disgusting.
I know.
Anyway, why would you even do that? Filth, absolute filth. Who does that?
I know. But you know what concerns me more than getting stitched up for a crime that I never committed? What if they cloned me?
Oh my god.
What if they cloned me? Oh my god, one was enough.
Well, actually, in all seriousness, they probably could do that. If you had somebody who worked in the lab who was a little bit demented, a little bit twisted, and they've got their own little home lab, take your DNA sample. Oh, Frankenstein.
Oh,
here we go. We're going to get copyrighted at 10 minutes and 22 seconds by the creators of Frankenstein. Frankenstein, Frankenstein, Frankenstein.
Smack, smack on the hams. Don't mention that name again. But honestly, what if they cloned me? I'd be horrified. I'd be like,
There'd be two
no.
little midgets. There'd be two little midgets running around.
One of me is enough in this world. We don't need any more of me in this world.
Oh my god, it's so funny. I'm crying. Oh. Hey, tell me about your healing too, by the way. When you heal people, what type of healing do you do? What technique are you using? Reiki or?
Yeah, it's very much like Reiki. Like I say to people, I can't really explain what I'm doing. It's sort of like I just do it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just happens naturally.
Yeah.
You're very good at it because, you know, as you know, I've got you to do some long distance healing on me as well, and it's been actually very good.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Hey, sorry.
I said I'm glad, darling.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point, isn't it? Is to help people. Yeah, and there's been a couple of occasions where I haven't told you anything either, and you've been able to pick that up through the power of healing. Like actually, what was how I was suffering. Like I remember that one time you did that healing, and you picked up about how my head was just going constantly.
Oh my God, it was like I opened up the door into your mind and did a bit of a scrumming and quickly shut the door. It was like, oh, my head. It was like, it was just a big swirling mass of ideas and emotions, and it was just so full on. It was like, oh my God.
Welcome to my world.
Oof.
And you're like, I'm just going to step back here.
Well, I needed a stiff drink after that one, I can tell you. You know, I know when you're suffering because my hands start to heat up.
Yeah.
It's like I'm tuning in, and I just want to heal.
And summon some demons. God, we are idiots.
I should have grabbed my oversized soup cup thing.
Oh, do you know what? Oh my God, when you were saying that, I was thinking, God damn it, I wish I had gone and got one of my big cups, because I was going to go. Just wait there for a second. Oh,
yeah. What are you doing?
Oh my God.
What happened? I'm trying to look. What happened? Are you okay?
Oh my God.
Are you okay?
Oh my God, I'm crying. We've gone from not being very funny at all to the point where I'm freaking crying.
It was my fault. I'm sorry. God damn it.
I don't have one of those cups here.
Hang on a minute. Oh my God. What did you do?
Okay, that's better. All right. Okay, stop laughing.
Okay.
Can you say shaman shum demons?
Man, you could use that thing as a swimming pool.
Yeah, it's actually a tea leaf reading cup. I don't use it though, but it looks nice on the shelf.
Wow. It is huge. It's huge.
Yeah, it's actually quite cute, but yeah, I don't actually use it. It's just an ornament, really. But I love doing tea leaf readings. Actually, next time you come over, remind me to do one for you.
Oh,
They're heaps
yeah.
of fun. I actually probably find them a bit more fun than card reading sometimes. Depends on who you're reading for.
Yeah.
But yeah, they can be heaps of fun. I'm just going to check our thing for a second. What were you going to say?
Remember that last tea leaf reading that you did for me online?
Yeah.
I swear to God, I seen Rob Zombie's head in the cup.
Oh, you're talking about the one that we did. Hang on a minute. I can't get rid of this stupid recording thing now. Okay, it's gone. In the group, in the Spiritual Soul. No, what's it called? Spiritual Soul Tribe.
Yes.
On Facebook, yeah.
Yes. You did a tea leaf reading for me.
Yeah.
And when I looked into the cup, I was like, oh, it's Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie's head is in my cup. And then you went and seen something else in there. I was like, oh, I'm all disappointed.
You're like, damn, I was hoping she was going to mention Rob Zombie. Yeah, it's funny. Well, calm down.
That is the Marilyn Manson little episode I had last time. Back.
And we're back. Back in black. Oh, so anyway, before what I was going to talk to you about, it's from the website conversationstartersworld.com. I mean, they've even made a complete website out of it. How interesting.
Oh,
wow. So if you're having trouble talking to somebody or talking to a friend, which we don't have any issue of that, you can talk to them about current situations that they're going through, things that, talk to them about things that you're doing with the person, like talking about food if you're out eating with them, job, work, clothes, news, sports, where they are living.
Work.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to talk about work anyway? Not too distant future. I gotta scrap that one. That's fucking shit.
Oh, when you mention work, like my absolute gripe now is employers complain that they cannot find decent workers, but when they do, they treat them like shit.
That's true, actually. Yeah. Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, I did a bit of a tiny little banishing spell on a particular person at work, and it's worked.
Yeah, well, he was giving you a hard time.
Well, it's the joys of dealing with a narcissist, fortunately.
Oh, there's a whole new topic. Narcissist, yeah.
Yeah. But on the upside, I've realised that I'm probably worth more than the current sort of work that I'm doing, and I'm aiming up the ladder.
You're what?
I'm aiming up.
Oh, yeah. I'm just looking up narcissist traits.
Oh, God, it's a doozy.
Because sometimes people don't know, what it is, or they might not even know like that they're dealing with someone who's a narcissist. So I think it's good to educate people about stuff like this, because you see it a lot nowadays, unfortunately.
Well, many years ago, when I first started in the care industry, my workmate said to me that her ex-husband was a narcissist, and I honestly thought that was a nice way of saying bastard. But it's an actual disorder, narcissistic personality disorder. And they all have the same traits. which is really scary. And
Yeah,
apparently
so
it's
you know,
not
you know how
treatable.
people often describe it as people who are self-obsessed and this celebrity-driven culture, you know, that they're
Yeah.
just into full of themselves, blah blah blah. Where apparently psychologically it doesn't mean self-love, at least not of a genuine sort. It's more accurate to say that people with narcissistic personality disorder are in love with an idealized image of themselves, and they're in love with this inflated self-image precisely because it allows them to avoid deep feelings of insecurity. Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
how true is that?
I know. I
So we're
know.
probably up
And
there. Yeah, sorry.
it's not, apparently it's not treatable. If you have someone with schizophrenia, for example, they can actually be prescribed medication, whereas with NPD,
Yeah.
it's not treatable. It's not treatable. So that's how messed up that is.
NPD, they should call it CPD.
I don't even want to ask.
Think
I
about it.
have an idea.
Yeah.
I have an idea of, yeah. I
And
know your vocabulary.
it starts with C.
And it starts with C.
And ends in T.
Is there, or...
So they are saying that they're very arrogant in behaviour. I mean, the thing is, there's so many people like this, but I suppose it's those extreme ones, those extreme personalities, the ones that really push people and alienate them, the cruel ones. To me, that's someone who's got a genuine narcissistic disorder. They're just really not nice people, and when they are nice to you, it's just because they're trying to get something, and then they'll get rid of you when they're done. And that reminds me of somebody actually that I know very well. They'll be very cocky, manipulative, selfish, patronising and demanding.
Yes. And you know what? They don't know what love is or respect or anything like that. So
yeah, and that person
people
that I
around
know
them,
is like that. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the people around them are just objects to them.
Yeah, and what can they do?
Gain.
What can they get out of them?
Yes.
Sort of scenarios. Yeah, this person I'm thinking of is most definitely like that, 100%. And they might tell you that they love you, but deep down they don't really know what that is. And that is that person, I think, to a T. And they'll manipulate you and try and isolate you from your family.
That's my phone.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll wait for them to stop. Shut up, phone.
And now it's on that thing where the sounds spawn down.
Yeah, so they'll manipulate you and try and isolate you from your family and friends, and that is that person to a T that I'm thinking of. He ticks every box, and you know those sorts of people will put you down and just make you feel like absolute trash about yourself. Like they're all about image, your image as well. And if you don't live up to their ideal image, you know, if you don't look the way that they think you should, then they will always forever just look down at you and you will never please them. That particular person I'm thinking of was somebody I had a relationship with, and he was always telling me, he would tell me I was beautiful, he would tell me I had the body. Shut the phone.
Sorry.
He would tell me that he had that, and he would tick off all these little boxes of all these good things. You know, you're a beautiful looking girl. But if you went and got some plastic surgery and you had this and that done, you know, you'd be perfect. And basically, because I wouldn't get that stuff done, he was forever picking on me about those things that he hated. And that's what those people do. And they'll do it in such a way that it kills you inside. In the longer term, you might not notice at first, but in the end, you stay with that person for years and years and years. And I've seen other people go through it. You know, you end up being a piece of trash, looking and feeling like a pice of trash, because that person has driven you into the ground. And the thing is, they'll have these bizarre ideals in their minds, such as, oh, I was always picking on you and saying that stuff because I was trying to toughen you up. You know, trying to make you feel, as if they were doing the right thing, and that ultimately it's your own fault. You know, it's always going to be your fault as well with those sorts of people.
Very sad and evil
Yeah.
beings. And also, when they can't control you,
yeah,
they control how other people see you.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So, for example, he would tell his friends all this stuff about us as if we were living in this really close, amazing relationship. To the outside world, he would paint this other picture, and he would have his friends believing, that we were living together, doing everything together, that we had this perfect relationship, we did heaps of fun things, blah, blah. And it wasn't like that at all. And the entire length of that relationship, the 6-7 years, I think we lived together all for about maybe 3 or 4 weeks, 6 weeks top, and we never really did anything together. Sometimes I wouldn't even see him for a week or two. I mean, it was just ridiculous. But he would call you and check on you regularly, make sure you were doing and running your life as per how he's seen that it should have been. But nothing was ever good enough. You could never ever please this man. And look, the thing is as well, it's not just men. There's a lot of women. And as you know, I had an incident with a woman who I would say is narcissistic, and it's got nothing to do with my readings business or anything like that. It was through business though, through another one. But yeah, we know the woman, and she, without a doubt, is 100% a narc. That woman was crazy. Yeah, so anyway, she wasn't a very nice person either. So what I wanted to say is it's not just men. I mean, we often, talk about these scenarios or hear about these women in these relationships with these supposed, narcissists. But anyway, there are women like this as well, not just isolated to one sex. But yeah, it's a shame. But just
definitely not very good people at all.
Just have a look at that website again. Narcissists believe they are unique or special and can only be understood by other special people, which is so true. They only want to associate and be associated with other high-status people, places, and things. I mean, how true is that?
Yeah, and they're always name dropping. They'll name drop.
Absolutely, yeah. I know the kind. And I mean, the whole concept, what they were saying about the insecurity thing, that's so true, because why would you feel the need to name drop and all that sort of stuff? It's an insecurity. You're trying to build yourself up, make yourself big. And that man that I'm thinking of, he was absolutely like that, as was that woman, actually trying to make things sound bigger and better than what they really were. Yes. So anyway, they have a sense of entitlement. Oh yeah, bingo, bing-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, bingo. A sense of entitlement, like they own everything. Yeah. They're happy to exploit others without guilt or shame. Oh my goodness, who does that sound like?
Yeah, ticking a lot of boxes there.
They frequently demean, imitate, and they bully and belittle others. Wow, what a surprise.
Yeah, there's definitely this person at work.
Yeah. So these people, they're saying don't fall for all the fantasy. So these people just basically fantasize about their life. So there's actually a really good website anyway, and I'm going to mention it. This one is called helpguide.org. So definitely check that out if you think that you are dealing with anyone who is a narcissist, because it actually gives you a lot of really in-depth details. It's probably actually one of the better websites I've come across with regards to this disorder. So absolutely, check it out. So, it gives you all the symptoms. It gives links to other websites, recommended reading, and it also really teaches you, it suggests to you, tactics and ways of dealing with those sorts of people, which is really beneficial. So it's definitely worth mentioning.
Because they're just a different breed. They're a different breed, and some of them can be quite violent, especially if in relationships. Now, I emphasise the word they can be. I'm not saying that every person who's in a relationship with a narc is in danger.
Yeah.
But it's good to get like background information on how these people actually function, because it really does open up your eyes.
Yeah.
I know. I've dated a narcissist.
Yeah.
I was with him for 3 years, and when I found out what he was, it was just like I knew what I had to do.
I find as well, I'm not sure if it mentions that in that website, but I find, and I'm just generalising here when I say this, but I find they're cheaters as well. As far as relationships goes, they cannot maintain a monotonous relationship. They find it very difficult, and it's because of that whole insecurity and the insecurity, and also the love factor, them not really understanding what love is, and they need to fill that void somehow, I suppose.
Yeah. And I have read on one particular site, I can't remember what it was called, but apparently with narcissists, if they're in a relationship and they think that the other party is going to leave, they've actually got someone else lined up, ready to go.
Shaman demons.
And then we shaman demons.
You've got nice white teeth. Do you just brush those, or do you put something special on them?
Oh, just brush them.
Yeah, right. See, I can't get my teeth that white. What brush do you use? What toothbrush?
Oh, I've got an electric toothbrush.
Yeah, but I use electric toothbrush. My teeth are not as white as yours. And you smoke. What about your toothpaste? What are you using?
El Cheapo brand.
Right.
Do I see my pearly whites again?
Yeah, go on. Shaman demons.
Shaman.
Funny.
Demons.
I'm scratching my nose.
Can you see up my nose?
Yeah, you got a nice knot up there.
Thank God.
Thank God. Did you clean that out before the video?
I did actually. But
what else can we talk about?
What about your subscription boxes?
Oh yeah, my subscription boxes. Yeah.
Because a lot of them out there are expensive. They're just absolute shit. Yeah, I've heard some of the reviews actually. Some people are really happy with them, with the ones that the businesses they're with. But then I have seen and heard quite a few horrible reviews with regards. And I think it's what I've read mostly is because that they're paying. People are feeling as if they're paying a lot more for what they're getting, sort of thing. And I know there was a couple of complaints about the quality of them and stuff like that. So I've brought out some subscription boxes. The one I have online at the moment is a monthly subscription box. I'm just going to have a look at it because I'm also posting out to worldwide. Yep.
Pretty much. So, I'm posting to UK, Canada, US, and New Zealand. So basically, in the first subscription box I've got up, I've tried to be quite generous in what I'm giving to people. Yeah. So I'm actually genuinely making very little out of it, the truth is, because I don't want people to feel ripped off. And even though, yes, I'm a business and I've got to make money just like the next person, I've tried to do it so people are going to actually enjoy this and get it and go, wow, I've got good stuff for my money. So in the first one, you're getting rose quartz healing point, and I'm also giving people a card with an explanation about it. You get lavender incense sticks, a large sage stick, you get some soap, lip gloss, you get a cool vibes shirt, tea light, and so basically it's worth over $90, and it genuinely is. If I sold all that stuff individually, I've got the prices there, I would get a lot more for it. So I'm really genuinely making not very much money from it. So yeah, so for within Australia, I'm only asking $49.95 for all of that, and you basically, oh, not basically, but yeah, you get all of that, but I include the postage in that cost. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, so I've tried to be really fair about it. And the other thing is as well is, you know, everything that I'm getting, like I'm going to have some months where there's themes, but also some of the stuff that you're getting now will be relevant to boxes later on as well, where you get taught some other stuff. So all those crystals that you're getting are all adding up to something, you're building up to something, and I don't want to give too much away. The other thing that I was thinking about bringing out, and I'm not sure if you think this would be a good idea, but I do, is, you know how you see people in subscriptions and they get, you know, something once a week. I was also thinking about bringing in the option where you can have a subscription box and it's once a week, and it's obviously not going to be that expensive, but you're also not going to get as much. But ultimately, you'll end up with the same amount of stuff at the end. So subscription boxes, I'm not sure where we got before our video got cut off, but subscription boxes, I give a lot of stuff. I make very little money from it. It's definitely worth it. Australia is about $50. US and Canada is about 60, and I think the highest it gets was about $70. And it's just because I'm including postage, that's covering the postage cost, because unfortunately it does cost more to certain countries and stuff like that. My website, for those that don't know, is lucidangelswonderland.com.au. You can type in .com and you can do a few different variations actually, and it'll all redirect you to .com.au. So yeah, in that first one, I'll just recap over it just in case we did get cut off. You get a 60mm rose quartz healing point, you get lavender incense, you get a sage stick, you get soap lip gloss, you get a good vibes t-shirt, which is alone is valued at $35. You get tea lights and value. Yeah, so if I sold every one of those things individually, it'd be worth well over $90. So I've been very fair about it. I am also at the moment compiling the concept of doing a weekly purchase instead, so you're not paying out one big lump sum. So you can actually buy, and people do these subscriptions all the time, like various things, and they usually cost about $14-15 just to buy that from the news agencies. Yeah, that's what it was years ago anyway, so I don't know about now, but yeah, so I'm thinking about doing a very similar thing to include the postage though in it, and each of those things will end up being the same thing that you would ultimately get in the bigger box anyway. And some of those things that you're getting are going to be for something that's going to happen later on. So, for example, all these crystals, later on in one of the other themed boxes, where, say, for example, we're doing crystal grids, you're going to learn how to do crystal grids and get all that sort of information and stuff as well. So yeah, so I'm thinking about doing the weekly one, because the monthly one might be a bit too much money for some people who can't afford it, and not everyone's got that sort of money to throw around. So at least if they can break it up and sort of work towards it, I don't mind that either. So that's something I'm working on. But yeah, other than that, that's really all I've got to say on that topic.
It's good value, people.
Yeah, I think so. And look, and all my supplies I'm very particular about. Some of the stuff that's going to be in the box is going to be made by myself, but things like crystals and that, it comes from very trustworthy suppliers, and I'll only actually use a couple of different suppliers, so for that particular reason. And also the other thing is, and also exactly, it's not fake. So also in some of the other boxes too, I'm actually going to be having Western Australian mined crystals as well.
Wow.
So the real McCoy right from here. WA.
The real McCoy, as they say.
Yeah. Anyway, let's end today's show on that note. And we've got lots of really fun things to talk about next week, including another type of crystal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and a few other topics. We're not going to give too much away anyway. We'll just leave it like that. Maybe next week we'll talk about that special, I was about to say special K, vitamin K.
Yeah.
We'll talk about vitamin K too next week.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, see everyone. Bye.
Bye.
See you next week.
The Royal Wave.
Shaman, demons.
Even Marley's saying bye.
Bye, Marley. Thanks for entertaining us. See ya.